All right, so this is going to be a video where we are creating a power series for this function f of x here, where it's 8 over 2x minus 9, and it's going to be centered at x equals 3. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is basically encapsulate that x minus 3 where that x is. So I'm just going to write 8 divided by 2, and then it's going to be x minus 3 in parentheses here. I'm going to put that minus 9 in front here. So it's negative 9 plus that. Now, because I basically added something to that bottom part, I didn't really add it, I subtracted it, that x minus 3, but it's 2 times that negative 3, that 2 times the x and 2 times negative 3. I have to overcompensate for that. So since I'm adding a negative 6, I have to be adding a regular 6 basically to cancel that out. Otherwise, the f of x does not match with the original function that we have there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a 6 here, and then I'm just going to simplify with that negative 9 to get negative 3. Okay, then I'm going to factor out that 8 from the top and then factor out a negative 3 from the bottom. So you have negative 8/3 in front. So you'll have a 1 for the numerator with the fraction that you're multiplying by. And then since you factored out a negative 3, you'll have that 1 minus. Now whatever's left is going to end up being your r. So in this case, it's just going to be 2/3 times the quantity x minus 3. And if you notice, that bottom part right there represents the r. Okay, so far everything we've done was just algebraic manipulation. I haven't even really done any calculus yet on this problem. It was just basically getting it to be where there's that x minus 3 in parentheses in that numerator because it is centered at x equals 3. So now that we have our r, we can make our geometric series based on this, and that negative 8/3 it just ends up being your a for the problem. So I'm going to write that down there. The negative 8/3 is equal to a. All right, so this is equal to the sum from n to 0, from 0 to infinity. I'm going to put the negative 8/3 in there first. And then the other part is just going to be the standard geometric series, only this time your r is that 2/3 times the quantity x minus 3. And it's going to be all of that to the n power. So basically you have the power series that represents that f of x function right here. So I'm going to highlight it. And then to find the interval of convergence, what I'm going to do is take that r, and the absolute value of that has to be less than 1. So if I rewrote that, which our r is that 2/3 times the quantity x minus 3, I'm going to have it less than 1 and less than negative 1 because that's what that absolute value of r is less than 1 represents. And then I'm just going to basically solve for x, and you have your interval of convergence. So first thing I did is I multiplied both sides by, or all the sides I should say, by 3/2, and then I added 3. And then I simplify here, and you end up with x is between 3/2 and 9/2, and that's the interval of convergence problem where you're representing a function. So that's basically representing a function as a power series, and only this one, it's not centered at x equals 0, it's centered at x equals 3. If you have any questions about anything in this video, let me know.